Hey, what's going on, everyone? How you guys doing tonight? It is night still, I think. It's almost midnight here on the West Coast in Washington specifically. It's not so much snowy anymore as it is just icy. And so I'm stuck at home. Can't go out, can't go do anything. Figured I would stream. Figured I would talk about the news, talk about what's going on. I actually did not see the Democratic debate tonight. Opted out of that. Figured it's just going to be a shit show, which apparently it was an absolute shit show. According to what I've been reading on Twitter tonight, it's just been bad across the board, and that's what's to be expected out of these debates now. It's kind of like in 2016 when the Republicans were doing all the debates and they had so many and so many and so many. By the time you're getting closer to the primaries and the caucuses, it was just like people know who the hell they're going to vote for. At this point, most people know, I would say, who they're going to vote for. So this just kind of feels like lame ass, dumbass, stupid ass crap. And so I'm just not even interested. I've made my political allegiances known. I am a full on Bernie 2020. I am bummed that Yang wasn't there. Thought he would have been a nice counter to some of the stuff. But hey, Amy Klobuchar. That's a big one, right? That's a fun thing. She seems like she's good at a party. But everyone tonight was talking about the whole Elizabeth Warren, Bernie Sanders, women can't be president thing, whatever. And when Bernie was asked, he denied it. And then Elizabeth Warren had the opportunity in that moment. I think she had the opportunity to outright just kind of pull back, to not try to take the upper hand, to go, I might have misinterpreted, or maybe the conversation was a little bit different. But at that moment, to kind of bury the hatchet, and she chose to not bury the hatchet. She chose to double down on it. When there's video evidence going back to 1988 of Bernie Sanders saying a woman could be president. I mean, that video evidence is being used to just destroy Elizabeth Warren. So after everything happening last night, after all the refund Warren hashtag trending on Twitter, all the stuff going down, it was just funny as hell to read. I think now we can start probably effectively calling her Brocahontas, which feels pretty accurate if you are to believe the Twitter trends, which I don't always do that. People like to bloviate on Twitter, right? We like to talk it up. We like to talk a lot of shit on Twitter. People like to talk a lot of shit on Twitter and then act like it's not real life. It's pretty funny. Twitter's totally real life. Let's be realistic here. Twitter is totally real life. It is such an ingrained part of our society that it's like herpes. It's the gift that keeps on giving in the worst possible way. Maybe more gonorrhea. It should be a better comparison. But really, it's there. It's in our lives. It's everywhere, whether it's Facebook or Twitter or hell, fucking LinkedIn, man. When I used to live and work in LA, everyone was, I went to a bunch of these LinkedIn workshops. This is in 2010. This is like 10 years ago. Everyone's all like, are you on LinkedIn? I'm all like, no. I'm free, no, I'm not. You should really be on LinkedIn. I mean, everyone's on fucking LinkedIn, man. This is what you got to do. You got to get on LinkedIn. I'm like, why? Why would I want to get on LinkedIn? If I want to talk to people, they can just add me on Facebook. The old days of social media. Nowadays, this shit's fucking real, man. Like, I just watched the video on Twitter of the Iranians shooting down that jet. I saw that fucking thing. That was wild. Not something I necessarily enjoyed to see, but I saw it. Not something I enjoyed to see at all. But I mean, that's the thing. Social media, news travels faster than the media can report on it, and the media is just trying to play catch up, and oftentimes blowing it out of proportion and fucking it up. That's why I was cracking up today too at the Project Veritas stuff. It's all like, did you see what Bernie Sanders campaign guy had said? And like, none of it matters. One of Trump's campaign guys got busted for child porn. No one really cares on that front now, do they? Right? It's all a load of shit. It's all fucking media, smokescreen nonsense, right? You think Project Veritas? I mean, literally, you think Project Veritas is fucking worth it at all? O'Keefe, it hasn't been relevant since 2009 in Acorn. I'd said that on Twitter, and people were just like, "Oh, what about the Epstein ABC thing?" Yeah, what happened as a result of that? Did ABC all of a sudden launch into Jeffrey Epstein to correct the errors of their ways? No. I think 60 Minutes covered it, but that's CBS, man. That ain't ABC. Now, this, I'll tell you the fucking weird thing. This is fucking true. This is the fucking weird thing. So when last week at the Golden Globes, right, at the like when fucking Ricky Gervais made that Jeffrey Epstein didn't kill himself joke, 60 Minutes dropped fucking autopsy photos of Jeffrey Epstein leaked online. Like I'm talking within minutes. You know, it was within fucking minutes. And it probably had more to do with the 60 Minute story on Jeffrey Epstein versus the Golden Globes, but it just felt like a goddamn conspiracy. You know, it did. It just felt like a goddamn conspiracy. And it cracked me up. It just cracked me the hell up. Because everyone's talking about it. They're doing all this shit, you know, and it's just like, all right, man, all right, you know, fucking Jeffrey Epstein. I don't think I've been on it. I've said this on Twitter. Like the one tinfoil I will allow myself to have, the one tinfoil, I don't think Epstein's dead. It just seems too fucking clean. You know, even the dirty bits feel like they got fucking polish on them, right? Like the two guards. Oh, we were napping. We weren't actually paying attention. Oh, okay, fine. I can kind of buy that. If it existed in a vacuum, I could buy the guards being lazy, underpaid, federal prisons, Bureau of Prisons employees. Fine, I get that. But then you jump in to the fucking like, oh, but the tape got deleted. Wait, what? His cellmate was mysteriously gone. Wait, what? You know, he used the bed sheet and hung himself with the bed sheet. Like, okay, that one, whatever. You know, but it's still like just, and then also the image of him when he was leaving, when they were wheeling his body out, and like someone is there with a perfect shot of his fucking face, a perfect profile shot of his fucking face, just bam, boom, clear shot. You know, I don't really wear a lot of tinfoil. I like to laugh at tinfoil, but that is, I look at that and I'm like, this is like a fucking Hollywood production, man. You know, like, it's like a Hollywood production. Like I have friends of mine who worked as you know, the body pickup crew, right, on the corner. They were part of that team that would go pick up bodies. This dude was a fucking hardcore horror aficionado, right? And we're talking about it, and he's like, you know, the crazy thing. He's like, fucking movies make it look more realistic than real life. Like, movies make it look more real. Real life looks like shit. He's like, the fucking dead bodies don't look anything like they do in the movies. You know, Hollywood makes it look more realistic. And, I mean, I've spent enough time on the internet. I've seen enough dead bodies to where kind of like, yeah. You know? Like, I remember back in the day. I remember back in the late 90s, you know, when the internet was just in its infancy. You know? When everyone's getting access to a lot of crazy sites and like, you know, goregallery.com and rotten.com were the thing. Style Project, if anyone remembers that fucking weird dumpster fire of a website. But, you know, that was back in the day when the shocking was the taboo, you know? Nowadays, it's all just fucking how much MILF porn is there on Pornhub, which is stupid. Back in the 20 years ago, it's weird to say 20 years ago, you know? You're looking up like, you know, I remember back in the GeoCity days, right? The fucking Alta Vista days, you know? Like, you could find some weird websites. Nowadays, it's all like, fucking, it's out there, but it just feels so different. It's not as shocking as it once was. And maybe that's just me personally. That's where I'm at personally, just in my own fucking life, is what's going on. You know, like, I've seen so much shit over the years. Like there's a tweet that gets thrown in my face a lot. It's kind of funny where I made a joke about, like, you know, you've been on the internet too long when you've seen a woman spit out horse cum and it doesn't bother you. And people are like, what are you watching? And I'm like, I was on fucking B. I was late night surfing 4chan. This is in 2012. I was late night surfing 4chan. And it's like, that is not what you want to do. Like 30-year-old Matt to 37, nearly 38-year-old Matt. Vastly different fucking value systems. You know, like 30-year-old Matt, fucking middle of the night on 4chan, not much else going on. Like, what kind of weird, crazy shit can I see here? 38-year-old Matt, fuck that shit. I ain't going on there. You know, I've seen enough crazy stuff. That's how I view it. But I mean, like, but you see that kind of crap, and after a while, it just fucking desensitizes you. I spent a lot of time on 4chan back in the day, like a lot of time on 4chan, and that shit will fucking desensitize you. I do like to tell this story because I find it to be kind of funny. Is like the day I saw Two Girls, One Cup for the first time, right? Everyone is all like, oh my God, it's terrible. I was at the studio I used to work at in San Diego. We all went and got lunch at a taco shop. I got carne asada nachos because I'm baller. Or no, they're carne asada fries because they're fucking good. And so we go back to the studio and we're all sitting there getting ready to eat our lunch. And this guy walks in and he's just like, hey, y'all want to see something fucked up? And of course, it's a bunch of dudes hanging out in a room. These people that are all like denizens of the internet, like movie nerds. Like, yeah, obviously. What the fuck? Like, this isn't even a question, dude. What are you talking about? He's like, have any of you here seen Two Girls, One Cup? And I'm like, no, none of us had at the time. And he's like, all right, I'm going to show it to you, but I got to film you. So, because that was the thing. That was like see, people don't realize this. Like, what got big in regards to reaction videos, Two Girls, One Cup in 2007 was like one of the very first, if not the very first big viral reaction video shit that went big on YouTube. I mean, really, like I talked people into watching Two Girls, One Cup after showing them reaction videos. Like, I'm like, you got to see this shit. Look at this reaction video because it piqued their curiosity. Anyway, so my friend fires it up and I'm sitting there eating my nachos or my fries, you know, and then it gets past the first 10 seconds and it gets into the shit, like literally into the shit. We're talking Vietnam levels of knee deep in the hoopla, right? And just everyone's all, right? They're like, oh my God, I'm terrible. Oh my God. And I'm sitting there just eating my food like, you fuckers. I spend more time on, this is 2007. I spent a lot of time on 4chan back 2007. You know, I was like, this is fucking nothing. Then someone's all like, someone asked me the other day, have you seen, was it like one, it was like one dude, he didn't say one guy, one jar. It was another name for one guy, one jar. And I was like, you mean one guy, one jar? And he's like, yeah. I'm like, yeah, I've seen one guy, one jar. You know, it's like, you ever see Tub Girl? Like, remember that fucking meme from back in the day? Like, this is the internet, like in like the late 2000s. You know, it's like, have you seen fucking Tub Girl? Like, that kind of shit was fucking what went viral. We're in a different world nowadays. Like, Two Girls, One Cup in 2020 would not shock the way it did 13 years ago. There's no fucking way that it would. So that's why it's like, you know, back then you see some really stupid, heinous shit and it just doesn't fucking phase you. And that's a weird place to be, mentally speaking. When you see something like people getting gunned down or killed or whatever, and you're just like, or chicks literally fucking swapping shit and vomit in each other's mouths, and you're just not phased by any of it. Like, it took me a while to kind of break away from that, but like for a while I was in it. And, you know, like so they really kind of like reframed my humor, like really reframed my humor, because I was trying to attract an audience of people that like I didn't really want. You know, like I like weird fucking crazy news. We're going to talk about some crazy news stuff here in a minute, but it's like that was kind of how I was, you know, 13 fucking years ago. It was absolutely fucking wild. So, you know, this took an unexpected turn. Yeah, well, that's what happens. Let's see. Fox says, when I saw Two Girls for the first time, my friends brought me chocolate ice cream and then sat me down and told me to watch it. Oh my God, that's pretty fucking funny. Oh shit. You know, all I'm saying is, look, when you look at something like Two Girls, One Cup, it is what it is. You know, it just, it's old school internet is what it is. Now, the one thing I have never watched, and it's kind of like you hit that point. You know your threshold, you know your limit. You know, and it was like, I remember hearing about swap.avi. My buddy recommended it to me. He's like, dude, because he was a something awful guy. I was a 4chan guy. He was a something awful guy. And then, so there was that, right? Like, I never got into something awful. I could never get into that whole goon shit. You know, I could never get into something awful. I just felt like it was too pretentious. It's still pretentious. But I've always kind of like, I've been, you know, now I'm more of a Redditor. I'm like that, you know, kind of fucking meme type asshole is what I am. The older you get, I guess, the more sophisticated you are by picking your particular internet poison. It's like, I like Reddit because I feel smart by editing into the conversation. Whereas unfortunately, I'm just like, pee pee poo poo, motherfucker. And then was it with fucking what? Oh, fuck. Something awful is like, oh, do you want to chat on the forums? It's going to cost you $10 for life to talk on the fucking forums. Oh, you want to chat? The fuck you, low tax, you fuck. I always hated that shit. I always fucking hated that. Like, you know, oh, you gotta pay $10 to get into our elite club. Whatever. I'm gonna go fucking hang out where it's anonymous and stupid shit. Oh my God. How would Paul Joseph Watson react to Two Girls, One Cup? Man, it would. I think that would kill him. You know, I really do. I think that would fucking kill Paul Joseph Watson. I think he would watch it. His head would explode like fucking scanners. So much degeneracy. Just head would fucking fly apart. All the fucking InfoWars brain fuel that he takes, that fucking soy-laden trash that he likes to suck down every morning before he works on his fucking shithole content. Oh, man. Paul Joseph Watson is good for a laugh. He's just really what he is. In many ways, I'm good for a laugh, too, depending on who you talk to. It's part of being on the internet. Anyone who's on the internet is going to be good for a laugh at some point in time for different reasons, right? Paul has extremely terrible hot takes. I cried at getting a silver play button. Everyone fucks up. So we have it on that front. Yeah, Something Awful did they did do some Spawn, some decent memes. Slender Man, I really like. They came out of Something Awful, but the paywalls are lame. So there's that. Oh my God. But anyway, I just, what is it, 16 fucking minutes I've been ranting about nonsense? Jesus Christ. Do I think that legalizing prostitution would solve the incel problem? Only if it was fucking like a copay on your insurance. But yeah, I think it would help out. Yeah. The problem with incels, it's not like a lack of sex, right? It's not a lack of sex on incels. It's really a lack of self-worth. They don't think that they're worthy enough to get laid, right? Or to get, to have someone, love them back, really. That's what it boils down to, so then they get pent up rage from not being accepted. And it just turns itself sexual. Dude, I guarantee you those guys have fucking like tube socks that are so crusty they could stand on their own right now. They've got like fucking nightstands that are just like held up literally by like cum encrusted fucking tube socks. That's what they, but it's not about the sex thing. Like, have you ever gone on, I've hung out with pickup artists, I hung out with a lot of them and shit one night. Oh my God, this is true. So a friend of mine, who was a pickup artist, I don't want to say he's a pickup artist, but he was very, very well steeped in that world, right? Very well steeped in that world. And this dude was good looking. This guy, I've literally watched, I am not kidding you. I was at Mardi Gras with him and his roommate, both of whom very good looking dudes. We were at Mardi Gras. These two chicks walked up to them. I'm right there next to them. They walked up to them, and one girl just looks at my friend and goes, "I want to suck your dick tonight." Just like that. I mean, just the fuck like that. And of course, they went off, did their thing, and that was a weird night. But really, it was just like that. That is the kind of shit these guys got into all the time. So anyway, I was working with them on writing a screenplay. They wanted to do this movie. And a lot of it was about pickup artistry, And so they wanted me to like really get into it. I read the books and then like, okay, we got to take you out, man. We got to take you out. So they took me out and they like got me some clothes, like a nice jacket. And I fucking had a trilby, and my friend gave me like a fucking name. He's like, all right. He's like, no, Matt. He's like, we can't call you Matt. I'm like, well, what about Jarbo? No, we can't call you Jarbo, man. We got to give you a cool fucking name. And I'm like, what? And he's like, we're going to call you Script. I'm like, it's kind of lame, but okay, I'll deal with it, So anyway, I dropped like $200 on clothes that night, and these are like fucking douchey Massimo Target clothes. Like, it was a dumb thing to do. It was raining in San Diego. It was raining. And we decided to go down to Pacific Beach and find a bar and like talk up some ladies. He was like, I'll show you the ropes, and I'm like, all right, whatever, man. It gets me out of the fucking house, I guess. So we go down there and I park. We go across the street to the bar. We have a couple of drinks, play a couple of pool, talk to some girls, whatever. End up having a good old time. Go back to my car. There's a fucking parking ticket. And I'm like, what the fuck? There's no one on the road. How the fuck did I get a parking ticket? I look closer and it's parked in a handicap spot ticket. $440 goddamn dollars. And I realized that like there was a handicap parking spot parallel on a main street, which makes no sense, but it was raining and it was dark and I didn't see the sign. So I go out with them to like go and like do this whole pickup artistry shit. And I end up going well over $600 in debt in about 4 hours with nothing really to show for it. Yeah, that's the experience kind of sucked. Let's see here. But more or less when it comes to fucking incels, I think prostitution would help him out. Speaking of pickup artist, Roosh V, man, he's a weird guy. I felt really dirty because I had to defend him once, right? The media was going after him, and they had like kind of smeared him, and I'm all like, "You sons of bitches are making me defend Roosh V." Roosh, I mean, like, look, if Me Too was a thing in 2009, I'm pretty sure Roosh V would have been Me Too'd. That guy is cringe incarnate, and now he's taking the God pill. So good for him. He's taking the God pill. He's like, I'm renouncing my. He's renouncing being a pickup artist, and he's more about trying to find like God. What's up with that shit? Dave Colin, Dave Rubin, Roosh V, they're all finding God. I like have your faith. I don't care about people's faith. I just find it interesting because, you know, like Dave Cullen, I know and I like Dave. So a Dave I would believe is a true believer. I think Dave I think Dave would do it for different reasons than like let's say Dave Rubin. Right? Rubin, it's wherever can get him the most money. Roosh, I think he's tapped that well. The incel well, so to speak. He's kind of done that. So I think he's off in that marketplace. I think he's trying to find a new grift. I think a lot of those guys are trying to find a new grift, really. But yeah, prostitution, man, legalize it. $400 parking ticket. It was $440 for parking in a handicap spot. So, fun fact about handicap spots: there are generally 3 identifiers to a handicap spot, and 2 are required. It's either the sign, the blue lines, or I think it's like even the and like the handicap sign itself that's spray painted on the spot. Like there's some weird shit with that. Anyway, I didn't see it. It was dark and it was raining. We were at the beach. It was foggy too, so I just didn't see the sign. It pissed me off. So I don't know, Payne. What are you going off about, man? You're just like, you were just fucking talking. What the fuck? Let's see. You had horrible self-worth problems. Thankfully, you had friends. No, that's all good, dude. Like the thing is, your friends are gonna help you one way or the other. I think when it comes to like mentoring, it's find people who have what you want, but it's like, but not like superficial shit. Like with my friend who was a pickup artist, I thought I really wanted that back then, to be like a ladies' man, to like slay some ladies, lay some pipe, that kind of shit. I mean, I was in my 20s, so obviously that was kind of what I was after anyway, right? I think most guys in that age are. But it was like these guys were just like, it was like promiscuous sex, like I mentioned the 2 chicks from Mardi Gras, like that was a pump and dump. They were gone in a couple hours, never to be seen from again. And this was a frequent occurrence for this guy. This was a frequent occurrence. And this is what he would do. And then he would regale his friends with stories of his conquests. But the thing is, I knew him well enough to know that he wasn't full of shit. But the pickup artistry people, man, they're like, because the name Mundane Matt actually came from a pickup artist that we knew. It was another guy named Matt. They called him Mundane Matt behind his back. He didn't know that. And so they gave him that name because he couldn't close a deal. Right? Which I can actually confirm that he did close the deal. So again, these situations put you in very odd, precarious positions. So check this out, right? So I get a call. All these guys, like the original Mundane Matt, right? All these guys are down at this nightclub downtown San Diego. So they hit me up and they're like, yo, dude, get your ass down here, man. We got a VIP room. We got bottle service. We got everything. I'm like, fuck yeah, dude. So I toss on my threads. It was so bad. I toss on my threads, I go down there, right? I look like fucking Josh Gad from 21, when he's trying to look cool with wearing a fucking trilby. Imagine a fat bearded idiot, right? That's like 1 year post cigarettes. So it's like fucking ballooned up weight wise. Like sauntering into this fucking loud nightclub, rocking like a blazer, and no, like I think it was like a Massimo jacket and like a fucking trilby. I had like it was such a bad thing. Oh my God. It's embarrassing to think about, but it happened. Anyway, we go in there and then like they got this back room and then there's these women, these like, I think like it was like a group of girls that were like in from out of town. Right. And so they're all kind of hitting on him and whatnot. And then the two guys, they take off and then it's just Mundane Matt and it's me. And then like these four chicks and like, they invite us back to their hotel room. And it's all like, oh shit. All right, four of them, two of us. So we all go back to their hotel room. And, like two of the girls take off to their room. So then it's just Mundane Matt, me, and these two chicks. I can't recall their names. And it doesn't ultimately matter. Because Matt started kind of hooking up with one of them. And then the other one was like, well, do you want to lay down in bed with me? And I'm all like, fuck yeah. Right? Like, I don't know where this night's going to take me, but let's do it. And ultimately, like, I started getting kind of a weird vibe out of it. Because she goes, oh, before we land, she's like, oh, I should let you know I have a boyfriend. I'm like, hold on, wait a minute. I'm like, wait a minute. Like, you invite me back to your room. You, like, clearly my friend and your friend are going to do some shit. And then you're asking me to lay down with you in bed. And then you tell me as we're getting into bed that you got a boyfriend. I fucking left. I left. I was like, fuck this shit. You know what I mean? I'm not going to, like, for one, like, what is that shit? But whatever. That was my last night going out with him. I'm like, what the fuck kind of nonsense is this? But because it's like, all this shit's just fucking, it's a game. It's just, what does she want to do? Get to the edge and then just go like, he. I could have fucked this guy, but I don't fucking know. That kind of weird shit. But anyway, but then Matt hooked up with one of them, and I think that was the last time I saw him too, actually. I think that was the last time I saw him. I don't know. We talked on Facebook after the fact, but I don't think I've seen him. So yeah, I gave up all that shit. I finished my screenplay. I handed it off to the guys. We went over it a little bit. They couldn't get the financing. The one dude got deported because he's from Canada. Back to Canada he went. And I haven't seen him in over 13 years. No, I haven't seen him in over 11 years. Right? So it's kind of like, I mean, like that's the kind of weird shit that happens with the pickup artistry stuff. But I mean, it works. But a lot of the incel guys, they lack the confidence to see it through. And then they get more frustrated. So they kind of delve deeper into it and think that it's really the women's fault. It's not the women's fault. I mean, in some cases, like the chick, at the last moment saying she's got a boyfriend, you could argue that would be a little bit on the deceptive marketing side. But, and again, I'm okay with it not, because if it got to that point and then she's like, whatever. So. Her, I have a boyfriend, me. Yeah. So I don't know, man. I got morals on that shit. You know what I mean? I got morals on that shit. It's hard for me. I can't do it. I'll tell you this though. So a few weeks before this event happened, I was at another bar with these guys. And this was so true. This was so funny. We're at another bar. This is at the end of 2007, right? So this is like, I want to say like early January 2008, maybe end of 2007. We're at this bar on a Saturday night, closing out the bar. And I'm talking with my friends, and this one cute girl, she's kind of bouncing around the bar. She's like talking to everybody. And she comes over to me and she's all like, oh my God, hi, how are you tonight? She's a cute girl. I'm like, oh, hey, I'm doing pretty good. How about yourself? Right. I mean, I'm trying to think of like the right lines to say, like, don't be too upfront or open, but like, nigger a little bit. Which I still never quite understand that concept of like a positive negative, right? Or a negative compliment. And, we get to talking for like about maybe 35, 40 seconds. And then she leaves and goes to the next guy. And I'm like, oh my God, she's interviewing people for who to go home and fuck that night. Like, what the fuck? She's bouncing around trying to find the right guy to go home and fuck that night. And I mean, I guess the tactic, worked because she clearly had a goal in mind. It's crazy shit. Have I ever been to Hooters? Yeah, I have, man. I went to Hooters when I was running for governor of California, and they had a limousine pick me up at my house and take me down to Hooters, right? And this is one of those like pimp limousines. It was like tricked out like 1970s kind of like pimp mobile type limousine with a white dude in a zoot suit, which I thought was kind of funny. who was driving it, and he was a nice guy. I just sat in the back and like listened to music because I was in the limo by myself, which is not that's not as much fun as it sounds. By the way, when you're in a limousine by yourself, that's not as much fun as it sounds. Right? Like it's just not. You need to fill it up with people. Anyway, they took me down to Pacific Beach. Went to the Hooters there. A bunch of Charger girls showed up. Hung out with the Charger girls all night long. Drank free Coors Light, as provided by the radio station who had sponsored my excursion to Hooters. That was a wild time. That was a fucking wild time. I miss 2003. I've led a weird life. Favorite Mad TV sketch? Probably Gump Fiction from the first episode. It's good stuff. It's good stuff. Okay. All right. So it's 12:28 right now. I've been rambling on for about approximately a half hour. A little over a half hour. But some good stuff here. So let's talk about some fucking weird. Let's talk about some weird ass news. You know, when I come across stories like these, when I come across stories like Thai Cafe shuts down after owner tries to sell used toilet seat that was used by a pop star out of Thailand, you really have to laugh at how far people are going to go for cash, right? Especially when they're trying to sell celebrity memorabilia. And you kind of, I mean, this woman is very attractive, so you could easily tell as to why somebody out there might buy it. We were just having a conversation about incels, so you never know. Anyway, so it says here recently, a Thai cafe owner tried to get rich by selling items reportedly used by Blackpink member Lisa. According to a report by Malay Mail, the Thailand-born artist did a photo shoot at the Moon Cafe in Bangkok and shared the pictures with her 28.1 million followers on Instagram. Now, when you look at an influencer marketplace, when you look at what is considered to be influencer marketing, you have to kind of chuckle a little bit at it, mostly because people see that 28.1 million and they think I can find a way to capitalize on this. And that's the reason why people who have got that high Instagram accounts make some serious money on advertisements. You know, I mean, there's a reason why you see NordVPN ads literally everywhere, because it is just like that. You know, it's getting the word out. Anyway, surprised by the sudden fame his cafe got after the shout out, its owner, Massey Jacob, turned that into a money eyes emoji. He reportedly began auctioning off several items that she used during the photo shoot, including a sofa, a set of cutleries on his Facebook page. Not just that, he auctioned off a toilet seat, because that's not creepy or weird or wrong on so many levels. Now, it says, according to Massey, some of the items fetched bids from up to 100,000 baht. And he even entertained an obscene request by one Facebook user who asked if he could pay to sniff the sofa she had sat on, to which he replied, it would be 1,000 baht, but 100 baht for friends. So, like, if you want to come sniff the sofa, it's going to cost you $1,000, but you can bring your friends for 100 each. So you bring 10 friends, it's free for, you know, like you can make a good deal out of this. You bring a lot of people, come sniff a toilet or sniff a sofa. Now that is some scary stuff right there, right? You know, I mean, like there's some YouTubers who sell, like, you know, like Mr. Epsion's a friend of mine, and he sells off like his socks or photos of his feet or something like that. I don't know if he sold off his underwear. I don't think he did, but like feet stuff, and people buy it. You know, I mean, which really makes you really question, like, holy shit. Anyway, now there's apparently a major online backlash. It says, obviously, Jacob's greed and lewd comments did not go down well with fans of Blackpink, who are known as Blinks, because that's not also creepy. They heavily criticized his cheap way of trying to get rich and even accused him of sexually harassing Lisa. I don't know if selling off a toilet seat is considered sexual harassment. Letting someone sniff the sofa she sat on is exceptionally creepy. But I don't know if that's something that you could argue would be sexual harassment. I mean, if he slit a section of the sofa and like slid in a glory hole or something, and then let it be some weird fetish thing, then I could see that as being a thing. But in the meantime, if you're just sniffing it, it's like, I mean, that doesn't even make any sense. It looks like a pleather sofa, right? It's not really going to maintain odor for long. People? Is he gonna have to like sit there and like get some other woman to like scoot, like scoot on the sofa? People are weird, man. This one person here says intentionally left Lisa's utensils and glass unwashed, put it up for auction with the seat and toilet seat she sat on and napkin she used after eating. Talked about looking for genitalia hairs on toilet seat to buy land. Okay, the genitalia hairs thing. Yeah, I'm gonna argue that's a little bit on the creepy side, right? If you're trying to like look at this woman's pubes and you're trying to like find them on this toilet seat, like did he remove it right away? Did he like block off the bathroom right away? Like, you know, again, that's disgusting. All right. Like I understand like the auctioning off of certain things. The toilet seat's really dumb, but I can understand it to an extent. But when he's on there like looking for like microscopic crabs or something, like, oh, I can find them. That's a that's yeah, I don't know. Finding what's he gonna do? Cloner? Uh Oh my God. See, Blinks, the owner of the Moon Cafe, in which Lisa had her Photoshop, sexually objectified her on Facebook. This is beyond unacceptable, and the pervert must be punished. This is why men are trash. No, this guy's a business dude. He's a business guy. He's an asshole, 100%, but he's a business guy who's looking to capitalize on this thing. Anyway, this one here, little Elise says, WTF, the owner of Moon Cafe used dirty words, sexual harassment to talk about Lisa. How dare you, asshole? You should have felt super grateful because Lisa chose to take a photo shoot at your coffee shop. Stop supporting this place. Guys, boycott forever. See, again, the backlashes. This is the problem when you're you might be able to attract, let's say, certain clientele that want to pay $1,000 to sniff the sofa this woman sat on. But you're gonna get the backlash of other people as well. And again, it goes on for a little while longer. Now, Lisa, whose real name is Lalisa Manobon, is one of the most followed K-pop idols on Instagram, and the show of support and backlash from Blinks everywhere prompted Jacob to shut down the cafe indefinitely. Wow. See, that is interesting. The dude got so greedy, it led to him shutting down his own cafe. That's pretty wild and crazy stuff. I do like this here. Maybe this will teach him to not be so greedy in the future, which is relatively true. But someone here is this is a news broadcast from the cafe, but they blocked it out for some reason. Don't know why. We could see what it says, and it's closed up. Well, don't try to sell the toilet seat off of a sofa or off of, from this person. But I did bring up her Instagram here, so we can kind of get an idea for what kind of photos were taken at this place, right? What this guy was really trying to do. So she's got 28.5 million followers. So she's gone up a few 100,000. And these are pretty just your standard Instagram stuff. She's a very attractive young woman. You can see why she's got a strong following. But then this is the photo right here. We can see that it's just her sitting at the booth. This is a sofa she sat on. And so she's wearing denim. So I don't quite know what odor to be ascertained from that unless she started kind of like, puffing out her fart box or something. Again, just sitting there, like, again, nice shot, and then her outside of this thing. That's it. These are the two photos from inside the cafe. That's it that we see. And she used the bathroom once, and he tried selling off the seat. That's why you have got to laugh at these kind of people that will do everything they can to try to make as much money as they can in the stupidest possible ways. I don't feel bad that this guy's business is shut down. I really don't, because like he clearly, if you're trying to harvest pubes off of a toilet seat that a K-pop star sat on, because you're trying to like sell it to the highest bidder. That's creepy in my book, and I'm okay with it not being a thing. Let's see. No, that's business acumen. Sure, if you want to say that it's business acumen, I'm not too sure how much of that I believe, man. I mean, don't get me wrong. I don't fault the guy for making the attempt. Right? It's one of those things where like obviously the attempt was made, but still, you just kind of have to laugh at it a little bit, right? You have to just kind of laugh at the whole process of what we're looking at here, of this guy, of this guy going and trying to sell the pubic hair thing. Look, the pubic hair thing, I can see that. All right. Like I can see the pubic hair thing being a problem. That's kind of where I am personally stuck on, if I'm being honest with you, is the pubic hair bits. So there's that. Okay, so oh, all right. Let me see. What's the next? Let's talk about let's see. Let's talk about Gwyneth Paltrow's vagina. Right? This is a subject of conversation that's been making its way around right now. Gwyneth Paltrow selling a 57-pound candle that smells like my vagina. Because that is obviously where we find ourselves in the world today. Gwyneth Paltrow, this smells like my vagina. That's this is a real thing, by the way. This is why for one, I think Gwyneth Paltrow is potentially, possibly a danger to society, and two, Goop is nuts. Goop is nuts because would you buy I like candles, man. I like, like eucalyptus candles, pine tree candles. I don't want to buy anyone's vagina candle, Like I don't want to buy that at all. That doesn't do it for me. But clearly it's sold out, so it's doing it for somebody. It says here that not content with a recent launch of the 5,000 pound 5,000 is a pound? Yeah, Goop Cruise. Gwyneth Paltrow has added another unique product to her online store. This one might be slightly more niche than a cruise. This smells like my vagina candle is available for 57 pounds and is already sold out. Wow, it's actually called This Smells Like My Vagina. To which I have to ask the question, how does one properly replicate the smell of a vagina? And that's a question that's as old as the ages, right? I'm just because, sex sells, let's be fair. So sex sells. And there's been like, I remember a Real Sex HBO special from like way back in the day where these guys sold off used women's panties. And when the women couldn't perform, right, and they couldn't get what they need, they had to manufacture the scent, and they used tuna juice and Tabasco sauce, a mixture of that in a syringe, and they sprayed it on the panties, and that ended up being what they sold. I don't believe that's going to be included in HBO Max, if I'm being fair. But that you could kind of understand as being a competitive smell. But let's find out more. Now, it started off as a joke between the perfumer Douglas Little and Gwyneth Paltrow. It was turned into a best-selling cleanser. Okay, so they did it more as a joke. Saying here, the two are working on a fragrance, and she blurted out, this smells like a vagina, but it evolved into a funny, gorgeous, sexy, and beautifully unexpected scent that turned out to be perfect as a candle. The website description explains. Okay. Sure. I mean, again, I just kind of have to ask, what vaginas are Gwyneth Paltrow smelling? Like genitals have a very distinct odor to them, right? I mean, they're covered up all day. You move around all day. You sweat, you drip. You go to the bathroom, right? A playpen next to a sewage dump is a very apt way to describe that whole nether regions. So it's like, it doesn't make any sense to me. Anyway, here's what the ingredients say. According to the ingredients, Gwyneth's vulva candle smells like geranium, citrusy bergamot, and cedar absolutes juxtaposed with damask rose and ambrette seed. Does that even mean? Geranium, citrusy bergamot, and cedar absolutes juxtaposed with damask rose and ambrette seed. Like, My brain hurts trying to figure out what that means. It's very weird. This smelled like my, anyway. Let's see. As with all of Gwyneth Paltrow's products, we all feel this uncharacteristic need to get one, and turns out we're not alone. On This Morning, Holly Willoughby admitted that she'd be partial to trying out the candle, saying, "Is it wrong that I want to buy one?" Yes, Holly. Yes, it is. You know what? I'm not one to mock capitalism, but no, some things do not need to be purchased, right? Like buying a scented candle that reeks like Gwyneth Paltrow's No Place is not something you should probably want to check out. Just like I don't want to buy an ice cream dispenser that's modeled after Two Girls One Cup. There's certain things in this world you just don't want to see combined together. Vaginas and candles don't go together. I think if you ask almost any woman out there, "Hey, would you like to bottle the scent of your vagina and sell it as a candle?" they would tell you no. In fact, Amy Schumer would probably find that tweet and then steal an entire freaking comedy special around that tweet. That's how bad that is. Anyway, whether it's curiosity or love of bizarre candles, this Goopin original now has a wait list. You can put your name down to get on the list. Oh my God. Anyway, the candle is said to put us in a mind of fantasy, seduction, and sophisticated warmth. So let's talk about that one right here. It's meant to put you in the mind of fantasy, seduction, and sophisticated warmth. So it's really that seduction part there that I'm kind of curious about, right? So it's meant to smell like fantasy. Like you enter a tent. It's pink with lots of drapes. Low hanging, like a labia. You sniff citrusy bergamot and cedars juxtaposed with damask rose and ambrette seed. You look over. There's Gwyneth Paltrow with a candle wick coming right out of her vagina. And you realize this is the worst goddamn thing I've ever seen in my entire life. Because it's not a fantasy. But I looked up the ambrette seed here, right? And I lost the page. Son of a bitch. I lost the damn page. Let me see if I can find it here, because a lot of what it is with the ambrette seed specifically, what it does is it actually provides aphrodisiac contents. That's what it says. So when you look at that, when you apply that to the situation, when they're talking about selling seduction, what they're doing is they're trying to provide you with an aphrodisiac that would get you in the mood to bang. So you would then want to feel fantasy and seduction while bathing in the musk of Gwyneth Paltrow's fleshlight. I mean, like, there is just so much there that is just so abundantly weird and wrong about this. But it's funnier than hell at the same time. I think we all can agree on that one. That it's funnier than hell that Gwyneth Paltrow has a candle that smells just like her vagina. Not going to lie. As much crap as I'm going to talk about it, if I was presented with the option of smelling it, I probably would. Just to say that I did. Like that time I smelled cocaine. Just to say that I could smell it. Didn't inhale, but I smelled it. Oh my God. So she's selling the smell of her deodorant. Pretty much. What are my thoughts on the Oculus Quest? I don't know, Lewis. How are you liking your Oculus Quest? I don't have any interest in VR. So me getting VR is not something I care about. All right, there we go. That's the one I wanted to find. Get my last story up here. All right. Let's see. All right. There we go. So, we'll do this last one here that I have. Robin. Boy Wonder. Young Ward to Bruce Wayne. and a staple of American iconography, Americana, and apparently, penis shrinking pills. Because that's what we're hearing about now. Burt Ward is actually out there saying that they made him take penis shrinking pills in order to make sure that no one saw his junk or it didn't pop out too much in that costume, which is an amazing thing. In no way is it good, but I completely understand why. I also don't get why they didn't just pad the front a little bit more in order to make sure that wouldn't happen. You know, the last thing we want is like a David Bowie Labyrinth situation where you can just see that thing flopping around like a dead fish inside of his pants during the Who Has the Power scene. You know, I mean, David Bowie was rocking those tights and nothing else. And it was just bunk, bunk, bunk. And it's a kid's movie, for crying out loud. No one caught it. That's the problem. Anyway, so it says here, Burt Ward, who played the sidekick Robin on TV's Batman in the 1960s, said in an interview with the New York Post's Page 6 that his bulge was stealing scenes to the point of where he was asked to visit a doctor for shrinking pills. Now, look, Burt Ward, he's getting up there in years, right? Like, I think out of the cast of Batman from back in the day, he's like the last surviving member. So we can't really get maybe anyone here to confirm this. And if he was a younger man, he could sit there and say, I was told to take penis shrinking pills. I told them to go shove it up their own butt. I didn't do none of that. My wang is huge. I mean, he could be trying to regain some of that big dick energy. All right. Anyway, he told Page 6 that the dynamic duo's tight-fitting costumes drew ire from the Catholic League of Decency. Oh my God, the Catholics. Oh my God, the Catholics have no place to talk about decency. Right? They have no place to talk about decency whatsoever. They they thought that Robin had a very large bulge for television. Of course they did. You know why they were so transfixed on it. I mean, I don't even need to go down that particular line of thinking, that particular pathway of dialogue for anyone listening right now to have a full fundamental knowledge and understanding about just how the Catholics view packages on young-looking boys. We don't need to have that conversation. Because this was in the 1960s, and so it's been nearly 60 years, and guess what? That fight is still happening. So the Catholic League of Decency can take a long walk off a short pier. Anyway, he claimed that the ABC executives asked him to reduce the protuberance by going to a doctor for medication to shrink me up. That's just terrible, man. The things that actors do for money, right? How many actors you hear like, oh, I had to, like, look at how many actresses went and got rhinoplasty, which is a nose job, or got their boobs done, or their calves done, or their butts done, or their face done, like, look at all of that. And then you're like, well, men have it worse. Oh, well, or they'll say men don't have to do this. And then Burt Ward's like, I had to go and get pills to shrink my junk because the Catholic League of Decency thought it was too undecent. Anyway, he did as he was told, but quickly had reservations, saying, I took them for 3 days, and then I decided that they can probably keep me from having children. So I stopped doing that and used my cape to cover it, which is the better course. I said, you get something else to pad it up, and he's right. This is 1960s medicine. I'm not saying that it's bad, but it's also not as good as it could have been. This is 1960s penis shrinking. This is before the age of Viagra. It just doesn't make any sense. They really did want to make him the boy wonder, didn't they? That's hysterical to me. And like, this is great. Last week, Ward, the 74-year-old father of two, received a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. He said he grew up daydreaming every day about being a superhero. I got it, he said, and I don't think it was an accident. And look, here's the thing: I'm happy for Burt Ward here to get the Walk of Fame. It's an honor. It really is an honor to have that, and him be 74 years old and to get it nearly 60 years after the ending, or over 50 years after the ending of a show, is pretty cool. It's pretty cool. So yeah, good for him on that one. I just think it's really, really, really funny that it was all to cover up this. And you can kind of tell from the bulge here, it's not that big of a bulge. Like, just put a little bit extra padding on there and he's fine. But the Catholic League of Decency couldn't contain themselves to this image right here. This to them is like, I don't know, MILF porn to young boys nowadays, I guess, right? That like they look at this and they're just like, oh, I can't contain myself. And to the rest of us, we're just sitting here going like, really? Oh, Hollywood, Hollywood, Hollywood. You're never going to learn. You are never, ever, ever, ever going to learn. A cod piece would have solved this from being a problem. A jock strap would have solved this from being a problem. But no, you told the guy to go and medically alter his body via medication instead of just finding a way at the costume department to not trigger the Catholics. Well, at least we can all laugh about it now because he did have 2 kids and he's got a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. And where are the people probably running the Catholic League of Decency? Most of them probably dead and rotten in hell. There we go. Oh my God. We fucking live in a weird world. We absolutely live in a weird ass world. Anyway, those are some of the stories that I came across today. There's another one that I found here. I'm not too sure like if anyone's gonna. It's a short one. It's a small one. Apparently, this boy got sent to court for slamming his bedroom door, and it breaking the doorknob. You know, and he ended up getting in trouble with the law because moms. Oh, that's something I found on Reddit today. It was good stuff. Anyway, I think I'm gonna wrap this thing up. I wanted to keep it a little less than an hour so I can get my stuff done and then go to bed. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this. I hope you guys, if you guys want to see more, I guess we can always do more of these down the road. I think it's fun doing them in front of an audience, even if it's a smaller one. It's a little bit on the late side, but if you guys want to go and smash that like, if you want to smash that like, get it above. We got 10 likes and 11 dislikes for some fucking reason. So feel free to jump in on that action. And I'll be around. I will talk to you guys all later. Have yourself a great day and peace out.